In this video, we're going to look at the process of actually adding a landlord to 1090, adding the property and booking the valuation in. And you'll see how, as long as you've got the process clear in your head, how quick and easy this process is. So just referring back to the guide, taking the initial inquiry from landlords and booking a valuation. First thing you must do is talk to the landlord, ascertain all about the property that they're looking to rent out, and also try to find out a bit about them and also what kind of service they're looking for. More detail you can read in the guide here. Okay, so moving on, adding the landlord to 1090 and booking a valuation. So the first process is to add the landlord and their details. So we'll go on to 1090, go on to the Lettings tab, click the Landlord tab, and assuming the landlord is not a current landlord already registered with us, we click Add. And what I'll do here is just put my details in. So Mr. first name, tab across, surname. Okay, it's come up with a warning to advise me I'm already registered, and as you can see I've been put in 4 times, so this will now be the 5th. So moving on, you don't need to put gender because it's already set if you select Mr. or Mrs. Okay, if there are 2 landlords, you can add the additional landlord by clicking additional contact. Just go back. Oh, that didn't work. Bear with me. Okay, so we're back where we were. Put my email address in, and it's always good practice to read back the email address and spell it out, because one wrong letter in here and you may as well not have taken the email address. So I'd always spell it back, paul@invictas.co.uk, and that really is essential. Try to get a home telephone number and a mobile, and just a little tip here, if there are 2 contacts, 2 landlords, always put the initial next to the mobile number. And if you take a different mobile for the second landlord, always put their initial in as well so you know who you're calling. Okay, notes you can use if you want to, but there shouldn't really be any need to make any notes in this section here, as you'll see later. Status we leave as active. Okay, don't need to worry about do not delete, and as long as they're a UK resident, that box stays checked. Okay, moving on, we just put our postcode in here, click search, and then hopefully the address will come up, and that pre-fills that out for you. Now at this stage we don't actually complete the marketing consent here for registering a landlord, and the reason for that is when we confirm a valuation appointment, the consent is issued at that stage. So we leave this section blank. So moving on, again we don't need to worry about any of this section at the bottom here, because that all applies really if a landlord does proceed with us. So you click on Add, and that's added the landlord in as a new landlord with all their contact numbers and the contact details. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is actually add the lettings property, which is normally different to their correspondence address. So on the right hand side here we click Properties and we click Add. Okay, and you can see it's kept the landlord in as myself here. So this property will be linked directly to me as the landlord once it's added. So we scroll down, move down, and at this moment it's under valuation as the status. Type, we need now to take details about the actual property. So we're going to assume it's a 3-bed semi here. Rent we normally leave blank. We can fill out the valuation rent later because obviously we haven't been out yet and all those details come later. Postcode of the property. Oh no, I better not use that one, bear with me. We will use ME137QD. Okay, again, postcode, click on search, select the actual address, and that puts that in for you. Don't need to worry about searchable areas at this stage, but we do need to take some details about the property, i.e. the number of bedrooms. Moving on down, we don't need to fill out any more because all of that information comes when the landlord confirms they would like to proceed. Okay, again, all of that is blank. That's all blank, and that's all blank. So it's very, very simple. If you look back up, all we've really done is stated it's under valuation, it's a semi-detached, the property address, and how many bedrooms. You can add in the additional information here any details about the property. So for example, if it had a swimming pool, I would just type that in here. If it had a 1-bed annex, I would add that. And if the main house had been extended, I would put main house extended to form a garden room. So anything you feel the valuer would need information-wise to actually value the property rental-wise before he left the office should go in this box here. Okay, click add. And you can see that whirring here, so just wait until that has actually added that in. So that property now is in the system and it's linked to me as the landlord. Okay, all valuations are booked under the property, not the landlord. So we're already in the property. We can click on valuations down here. And again, we click add to create the valuation. Now let's assume the valuation was being booked in for the 29th at 10:30. Don't need to fill out an end time, that's totally irrelevant to us. Okay, location, it's pre-fill that out. Who the staff member is conducting the valuation, so I'm actually going to put Paul Richards here. And any notes. Now this notes section is actually our contact log, so what I will do here, as we do with everything on 1090, is put the date, initials, and state what I did. And it's good practice to put the date down and the time. And I would put anything about the landlord here that you've ascertained as per the guide. So I'm going to make this up. Landlord has been left this property by his late mum and wants to rent it out for the first time. Looking for platinum as has never let before and wants the rent guarantee. Okay, so that information is crucial for the valuer. So he knows time and day is definitely correct because it's double checked by putting it in the box here. He also knows about the property and the landlord, so all the property details were filled out on the property section, and he knows that the landlord is a new landlord and this is his first let, and we also know that he's looking for the platinum product. So that makes the valuer's life 100 times easier when he gets there because he knows what products the landlord's looking for, and he knows a little bit about the landlord and their history. For valuation. Okay, valuation instruction is awaiting decision. And the follow-up date is the date that we want the top line actions. So prepare for valuation would be a day before the actual appointment. So I'm going to put that in for the 28th. Click on add. Okay, so that valuation is in the system. Before we move on, we need to click onto view, and then you get the email options here, which is basically I can confirm that appointment to the landlord. So if I click on landlord confirmation, and what you can do here is personalize it to say who's going to attend, if you want them to get anything ready, etc., or if you've had any conversations and you want to relate back to that, always try to personalize this email. Click on send. I won't do it, but click on send. That will go to the landlord as confirmation of that appointment. Okay, I can also send a staff reminder which would alert that valuer to the fact a valuation has been booked in. So staff reminder. Okay, there you go. So it tells you the property address, or will tell Paul Richards the property address, what day it is, and who the landlord is. Because as a valuer, that's the most important bit of information that you ever want to hear. Click on send, that will go to the valuer. So on top of that, this alert will come up on the 28th to remind Paul to prepare for that valuation. But the idea of sending the email is if Paul had a busy diary on the 28th or he had a day off, then he could actually and may want to prepare earlier than the 28th. Or he may actually want to put a call out and obtain a bit more information from the landlord before the actual valuation. Okay, so just to show you how that appears in the diary, I'll click on the home page, click on the branch diary, and we'll go forward to the 29th, and you can see here the valuation at 10:30 has popped up. Okay, so obviously before you book it in, you would have the paper diary on your desk. Check that the staff member conducting the valuation is available, and that it doesn't conflict with any other appointments. Hopefully that has helped you create a valuation, add a landlord on the 1090 system. Please put a